Alright, so, this is the other Q&A I talked about when I was doing my Sith Q&A not too long ago. I basically talked about that I had posted for 2 Q&As, and this is the second one. This is gonna be the Power Rangers Q&A. So as always, I'd like to thank everyone who sent in questions, and if you'd like to be part of the next Q&A, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and from there you guys can start sending me requests. If you hit the 3rd tier, you can start sending me requests for videos as you hear on YouTube. But if you just want to be part of the next Q&A, just hit the link below, head on over to Patreon, hit the 2nd tier. That'll allow you to all the stuff exclusively on Patreon as well. But other than that, I hope you all enjoy this, and let's get started with the video. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone who sent in questions, and let's get started. Starting with David Deister, basically in this Q&A, I forgot to mention that I did ask people to have their favorite morphing cry to their favorite ninja Power Ranger series. Why did I say ninja? Their favorite Power Ranger series. So in other words, let's go Galactic. That's my favorite Power Ranger show outside of Mighty Morphin. It's Lost Galaxy. Anyway. David Deister says, time for Time Force. First question. What would a Has-Been Hotel Power Rangers crossover look like? I have no idea, but I imagine... I do imagine there would... I just have this feeling that Angel Dust would try to fuck everyone. Like, that's what I feel like would happen, is that Angel Dust would just try his best to just fuck every male ranger. Though I would like to see... I don't know what that would look like. It would just kind of look like a mess. If I'm being honest, it would look like a real fucking mess. Anyway. So, second question. If you could write a Power Rangers Time Force comic, what would the first story be like? I would probably say, like, maybe have it that the Time Force itself is kind of dealing with some unmitigated problems because they've done so much time travel. Like the Time Force agency that Power Rangers Time Force is a part of has basically, you know, like, they've done so much time travel, regardless of how careful they were, have basically been causing cracks and ripples throughout the time stream, and now it's like now time is like overflowing, and time is like overlapping itself in every which way. That's how that's what I would imagine it would be, honestly. So thank you for that question. Third question. What Ranger color would you want to be and why? That's a tough one. I think it doesn't matter regardless of color of Ranger. But I will say that I think the Ranger color I would like to be is probably green. Not saying like 6th Ranger green, but more like any kind of color green would be kind of cool. It's always been my color. So, yeah, Green Ranger. There you go. Thank you for those questions, David. Moving on to Tom Hibbert, who says, Dino Thunder, power up! First question. Would you like to see a story where the original Mighty Morphin team faces off against the Psycho Rangers? Well, we're kind of getting that already. In live action, that's kind of impossible because we've tragically lost some people, and some people are in jail. But in comics, we're kind of seeing that now in Godzilla vs. Power Rangers 2, with the Mighty Morphin Rangers battling the Psycho Rangers, who are getting powered up to be kaiju level. So yeah, we are kind of getting that now. So yeah, I can't wait to read that in trade. Anyway. Second question. What are your thoughts on Mesogog as the villain from Dino Thunder? I really like him. He's probably one of my favorite Power Ranger villains. Probably because he's like a mixture of Mr. Sinister and has a bit of that Lord Zed scare to him. He was definitely like a very brutal villain too. He was a very powerful... he also took out Lothor, that fucking loser, from Ninja Storm. One of the worst Power Ranger villains was Lothor. But Mesogog dropped him no problem. And he was just a kind of a really... just a real threat. Like, Mesogog really felt like a credible threat among Power Ranger villains. So, there you go. So, thank you for that question. Third question. If you had to give Jason the Red Ranger a battleizer, for those who don't know, basically battleizer's armor, what would it look like and how would you have him obtain it? a battleizer for Jason the Red Ranger. I'd probably say that I would probably pick for Jason to have a Red Ranger. You know how he'd get his battleizer is kind of make it look like the Tyrannosaur, like Tyrannosaur, with like his power sword formed into a gun. How he'd obtain it is probably like how I'd probably have it is that Jason is sent on a mission to the far reach of the galaxy by Zordon to basically, because like I'd have it that like Jason's feeling like man, now that now that Tommy's here, it just feels like my role has been demoted. I feel weaker and powerless, and Zordon would be like, "No, Jason, you are still a valuable you are still valuable as the Red Ranger. I have a special mission for you." And Jason would be on this task of self-discovery and then get that battleizer armor. That's kind of what I could think of off the top of my head. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Tom. Moving on now to Bill McLaughlin, who says, "It's morphin' time! White Tiger! If you could... It's morphin' time. Gotta do it right." First question. If you could make your own Power Ranger lineup comprised of all previous Rangers, who would you have? Ooh, I like this. We all talk about, like, Power Ranger all-star teams we would make up. Like, we always have that, right? Like, we always have, like, Power Ranger teams we'd love to, like, form together. So let me just go through a few. So for Red Ranger, I think I would have Andros. Andros was a goat among Red Rangers. So Andros would be really cool. Actually, no, I take that back. Not Andros, I'd have Leo from Lost Galaxy. Yeah, Leo, the Red Lost Galaxy Ranger. My Pink Ranger would probably be Kendra? No, Kendra's Lost Galaxy. I'd probably say... Oh, what was her name? The Pink Time Force Ranger. I can't remember... God damn it, I can't remember her name. But the Pink Time Force Ranger, she's definitely... Like, if you want to talk about, like, most badass... of the Pink Rangers, there you go, Pink Time Force Ranger. I wish I could remember her name. I want to say Amy, but I know I'm wrong. So there you go, your Pink Ranger. Yellow Ranger... I would say the Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. Why can't I remember these names? I can't remember every single fucking name of these Rangers, but the Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. Yeah, for yellow. So Yellow Dino Thunder. For Blue Ranger, I would say... the Blue in Space Ranger. I know the actor's name was Selin War. TJ, I think. God, why can't I remember these names? But yeah, Blue in Space Ranger. And for... for Black Ranger, I would say... Actually, no. I'm going to say... for Blue Ranger, I don't want to, like, it'd be too easy to use Billy and all the Mighty Morphin, because I don't want to do Mighty Morphin for this list because it's too easy to throw them in there. But I will say Blue Mystic Force Ranger, just to kind of change it up. And for Six Ranger, Cam the Green Samurai Ranger. Cam was the fucking... I may not be the biggest fan of Ninja Storm, but, like, Cam was the fucking GOAT of, like, Six Rangers. He was the best thing, so Green Samurai Ranger. Anyway, there you go. Why can't I just couldn't remember all the names off the top of my head. Second question. Aside from Tommy, who was your favorite Mighty Morphin Power Ranger character? Cam, like I said, the Green Samurai Ranger from Ninja Storm. His story arc was amazing. I would also say Magna Defender. I don't know if he counts as a Power Ranger, but probably Leo. Leo was cool. Carter Evans was neat. From the Red Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. Yeah, just to name a few. Third question: How do you who do you feel is underrated as a Power Rangers villain? I'd say, weirdly enough, probably the scariest one, the one who's probably the most underrated, is Vingix. I don't know why people don't consider Vingix a bigger threat. The dude literally killed off 99% of the planet, and then left only like a little bubble of a city, and he basically almost won. So I would say Vingix. I don't know why people don't give that man his flowers more often, but definitely Vingix. But thank you for those questions, Bill. Moving on now to Cyborg 19.99, who asks, what other cartoon villains could you see being a character in, in Power Rangers? Mojo, for sure. Mojo Jojo. I would say him. A lot of the Powerpuff Girls villains, honestly. I could see Chase Young as a villain, especially for Jungle Fury. For some reason, he just, maybe not Jungle Fury, but definitely Ninja Storm. As much as I don't like Ninja Storm, I'm bringing it up. It's weird. Yeah, Shredder, definitely, for Mighty Morphin. There you go. What video game, anime, cartoons would you cross over with Power Rangers? Video game and... Let's see. Video game and anime. Well, I know there's a version... There's this anime out that's like Power Rangers, but like The Boys. So that'd be kind of cool. I had to get some water. I would say... video game-wise, maybe Tekken, just to have those two. Who knows? But those are just a few right there. Third question: Lord Zed versus Dante. Devil May Cry. Who would win? I'm gonna say Dante, probably because the dude is taking on like Titan-sized monsters at a normal size. But I do think it would be a tough battle regardless. But there you go. Thank you for this question, Cyborg. Moving on to Christopher Rosa, who asks, what's your favorite Power Rangers season and why? Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy was definitely a series I really enjoyed. It had a lot of drama. It had a lot of great character arcs. I think also it had some of the best Power Ranger villains, as well as the Battleizers were cool. It just had probably one of my favorite Zords ever with the Galactabeasts. So yeah, I would say Lost Galaxy for sure. Second question: if you had a chance to write your own Power Rangers series, how would you write it? I would probably say how I would do my own Power Rangers series. I would probably say that this series would be more along the lines of maybe have it's centered around Greek mythology, Greek or Egyptian mythology, or even mythologies in general, and have the Zords be off of monsters from various mythologies, and maybe the villain can be science or some shit. I don't know. Here you go. Third question: if you wrote a crossover with Power Rangers and Go Loser Rangers. That's the anime I was thinking of. If you could write a crossover with Power Rangers and Go Loser Ranger, which is an anime about corrupt villains pretending to be heroes based on Power Rangers, how would that story go? Well, I haven't watched Go Loser Rangers, so I couldn't really answer that question. Yeah, I haven't been able to watch it, but I heard it's really funny, and it's like Power Rangers meets The Boys. That's the best way to describe it. But thank you for that question, Christopher. Moving on now to Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, how you doing, bro? First question. Wish we got a Power Rangers Voltron crossover, don't you? Well, with all these crossovers going on nowadays, never say never, my friend. That's the best way to say is never say never. I will say that it is a possibility with Boom Studios, and I think Dynamite still has the comic rights to Voltron. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure they still have the comic rights to Voltron in some capacity. So who knows? Maybe Dynamite and Boom will give us a Power Rangers Voltron crossover. Yeah, like I said, never say never. It's just a matter of which Voltron would it be? Probably classic 80s for just safe bet, but who knows? Second question. If they did, if they did a Marvel crossover, which ideal choice would it be? I'd say Power Rangers and Guardians of the Galaxy, just for like a cool cosmic story. But it would probably be like the best bet would be, just since we got Power Rangers and Power Rangers and Justice League. The next the option would be Power Rangers and Avengers. Since we already had to meet the Earth's greatest heroes of the DC universe, time to meet the Earth's mightiest heroes in the Marvel universe. So Power Rangers Avengers would be probably my better pick. Third question. Dino Thunder got me back in Power Rangers. I stopped watching after the franchise. Basically, he's asking about my opinion on Dino Thunder. You know what? Funny enough, Dino Thunder was my thing to get back into Power Rangers for a hot minute. I randomly caught it on a whim, one episode on a whim, and that's when I realized, oh my god, that's Tommy. That, like, I was a kid and thought, oh, that character's just nobody. He looks familiar, and then I realized, oh my god, that's Tommy. That's the Green Ranger, and now he's back to being a Power Ranger. Oh my god, this is amazing. So Dino Thunder, like you, was the show that got me back into Power Rangers, and I really enjoyed it. I really I thought it was a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you for those questions. Thank you for those questions. Yeah, thank you for those questions, Chris. Moving on now to Nolan Une, who asks, if your favorite Godzilla, Gamera, or MonsterVerse human characters were Rangers, what color would they be and Zord be? I don't know about color and Zord, but for Rangers, I would probably say, Emiko would have to be would have to be a Ranger. And there's no way you'd have to get Emiko. No, not Emiko. Miki. See, I got the names mixed up. Miki Sagusa has to be a Ranger. Like, there's no doubt about it. I keep trying to say Emiko. Miki Sagusa has to be a Ranger. Like, there's no way around it. I would also say Goromaki. Akane from Godzilla, from the Godzilla versus Godzilla against Mechagodzilla duology. Probably also pick from the MonsterVerse Trapper because he was fun. And I'd probably also pick shit. I'm trying to think of one more Ranger to close this out. Probably pick maybe Steve Martin. There you go. Second question. Top 3 female Rangers and why? Like I said, the Pink Time Force Ranger, who I'm forgetting her name. I can't believe I am. Pink Time Force Ranger, she was awesome. Astronema, when she became Kendra again. That was a great story arc of Astronema / Kendra becoming, going from villain to Pink Lost Galaxy Ranger. I thought that was really awesome. I cannot believe I'm forgetting the Pink Time Force Ranger, but she was a boss. Like, she was going for that Red Ranger position. Even there were times where she felt like more like the leader than before. But yeah. So, yeah. So for final one, I'd say, yeah, Kimberly, because again, she's the original. It's really kind of it. Those were all Pink Rangers, I know, but still. Third question. What villains from other universes do you think could make good villains for specific Ranger groups? I kind of already answered this question, Nolan, so I'm gonna have to, skip this one. Although I will say, if we're gonna go outside of, cartoons and anime, I'd probably have Sho'nuff from what was it? What was that movie called? Rising. God, I forget the movie. Why am I blanking on so much shit? Probably because of lack of sleep. But the villain's name is Sho'nuff. And I'd probably have him as a villain for... I'd say Jungle Fury, just to mix it up. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Nolan. Moving on now to Alistair Bondman, who says, RPM, get in gear! First question. While most of us can agree that Megaforce was terrible, especially as the anniversary season, how would you write a Megaforce and be more true to the Sentai, a team-up between veteran Rangers, or what? Probably just a team-up with veteran Rangers. And yeah, that Super Megaforce episode was dismal. It was abysmal as a season, as like a anniversary season. It was just, I don't know if it was like scheduling among all the actors or what, but like, or they just couldn't use, or didn't know how to use that much footage. No idea, but still, that was pretty fucking abysmal if you ask me. Anyway, I'd probably have it be just a big team, Avengers level team up among veterans. That's just me, though. Second question: how much do you want to punt the Red Samurai Ranger and the Mentor of Samurai for being shitheads? Because I want to punt those two into a wood chipper. Yeah, Red Samurai was awful. Gosei was also just dumb. But Red Samurai Ranger was just kind of... I just didn't like him because he was just kind of a bland character, if I'm being honest. But yeah, they're not fan favorites, let me be honest. Third question. Linkara has often speculated that certain Ranger teams and their respective villains are underlying motifs, like nature versus pollution or magic versus technology. If you were to create your own series of Power Rangers, what would the motives and Rangers represent? Kind of already answered this, Alistair, so I'm sorry. I'm going to have to move on. But thank you for those questions anyway. Moving on now to Hunter Johnson, who says, it's Morphin time. Triceratops. Question 1. What if the Power Rangers and the Sailor Guardians switched where Angel Grove is defended by the Sailor Guardians and the Sailor Moon, Japan, is defended by the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Shit would get done regardless. Like, that's really what it comes down to, is that shit would get done regardless of who's there. It would just be with the Sailor Guardians, there would be a lot less monsters returning home. Like, you ain't getting away from them. And also, I feel like the, whichever villain arc from the Sailor Guardians they're facing, those villains aren't coming home either. Like, that's, yeah, shit's gonna be handled regardless. That's what I'm trying to get at. Second question: would Zordon make a good mentor for Steven Universe? Probably. Decent enough mentor. There's real no change there, if I'm being honest. It's just, I feel like he would be a good mentor, regardless of character. Third question: what would happen if Ash Ketchum from Pokemon became the Red Ranger, and what Zord would be getting, Dragon Zord or the Tyrannosaur? We'd probably get the Tyrannosaur because he's the Red Ranger. Oh, just became a Power Ranger in general. Yeah, I don't know, sure, okay, fucking whatever. Probably the Red Ranger, get the Tyrannosaur. Thank you for those questions, Hunter. Moving on now to Rory, who says, Time Force! A lot of Time Force fans. You love to see it. First question: if you could make a Power Rangers video game, how would you make it? I would kind of make it in the vein... Since we've gotten a lot of fighting games, I would probably say my version would be like the video games that... I don't know what they're called, but like the game system is called. But a lot like You guys remember Marvel Ultimate Alliance? And have it be multiple Rangers. You can make like a four-person team and go around fighting arcade style against multiple enemies. Yeah, like, think Marvel... Yeah, just Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but with Power Rangers instead. That's the best way to... to describe it. Tell me you wouldn't buy that game, right? Second question: what would happen if the Z Fighters met the Mighty Morphin team? They definitely, like, the Z Fighters would look at him and go, "You guys are kind of weak." Like, there's like the Z Fighters just like, I'm not trying to say this is like a Dragon Ball Z nutty hugger or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, the Z Fighters are just outclassing them, or just outclassing the Power Rangers. There's no other way to put it. Third question. What colors would the Outlaw Star Ranger crew be as Rangers? Well, definitely Gene as the Red Ranger. Probably put Jim as blue. Aisha would be yellow. I'd say Machina is pink. And maybe... I don't know. I don't know if the color if like the colors really don't matter unless you're the Red Ranger. Then you're the leader, right? But anyway, thank you for those questions, Rory. Moving on now to Imagine8, who asks, "What is your first?" Imagine8's first question is, "What is your favorite Ranger suit team suit design?" Ooh, that's a good one. Well, while Mighty Morphin is classic. And it's absolutely iconic. Had to just gotta remember to hydrate, boys and girls. Would probably say, I think one of the best designs is, even though I'm not a fan of it, Mystic Force. I just kind of like the capes. That was kind of cool. I'd say also Jungle Fury and Dino Thunder, and Dino Charge. Definitely Dino Charge had some really awesome costumes too. So those are just to name a few. Second question. Would the Megazord from the Power Rangers franchise be able to handle the Decepticon combiners and Titans like Trypticon and Scorponok? You know, I'd love to see that. I don't know for sure. I would say it could hold its own, but until we get like a legit crossover with Image and Boom Studios, that question won't be answered for a while. But yeah. Third question. Which season theme song is your favorite? Ooh, you're bringing out all the really good questions. I like that. Again, you can't go wrong with Mighty Morphin's theme. There's no, that one just gets you pumped regardless. There's no way around, saying that, oh, the Power Ranger, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song sucks. No one is saying that. No one will ever say that unless they're a fucking idiot. As for others, though, Zeo, Zeo I thought was eh. I will say Turbo. I do like Turbo. Turbo's fun. Turbo's theme is fun. I do like Jungle Fury's theme. Dino Thunder's a classic. Time Force is a banger. Lost Galaxy and In Space, also bangers. I'm gonna have to go after this. I'm probably gonna marathon just binge. Dino Charge's theme. I love Dino Charge's theme. That was probably my favorite of the Nickelodeon era of Power Rangers themes. RPM also had a good one too. So there you go. Think of those questions, Imagine8. Moving on now to Gordon Rajani, who asks, which network do you think handled Power Rangers the best? Fox Kids, ABC, Disney, Nickelodeon, or Netflix? Fox Kids. It's no brain. I think Fox Kids handled it the best. ABC, Disney thought they had a good idea, but they didn't. They really didn't have a good plan at all. There was just no thought process put into it. I would say Fox Kids. That one, they knew how to regulate. They knew what they had. They knew they had lightning in a bottle, and Saban really knew how to utilize Power Rangers the best way, and knew how to not overexpose it, but also use it enough, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to say the Fox Kids era, but I will say the Nickelodeon era for a hot minute was trying its best, and then Nickelodeon just fell on the sponge in Loud House. So yeah, it will always be Fox Kids. Anyway, second question. Were you satisfied with Cosmic Fury as an ending to the original Power Rangers run? Give it a 3 out of 5, honestly. I think it had its moments, bringing Zed back, even though I didn't really care much for the explanation as to why Zed is good again, evil again. But then again, the whole wave of goodness thing never really sat well with me, so what do I fucking know? But yeah. I thought it was decent. That's all I'm gonna... At the end of the day, it was just decent. That's really all I can say was that it was decent. But anyway, thank you for those questions, Gordon. Moving on now to Jason Voorhees 2011, who says, "Let's rock it! First question. Favorite and least favorite Power Rangers villain. Favorite Power Rangers villain... Everyone loves Zed and Rita. Everyone loves Zed and Rita. There's no way around it. But I will say, in terms of like favorite Power Rangers villain, I'd probably say... Probably say Astronema. Either Astronema or... either Astronema or Vingix. Astronema or Vingix would probably go for favorite villain. Least favorite? I'd say least favorite Lothor. Lothor fucking sucks. Like, he's not intimidating. He's just dumb. Fucking useless villain. And again, Mesogod kicked his ass. So yeah, I'd say it's a tie between Vingix and Astronema. With maybe Tarkina too. Although I do like King Mondo. But yeah, it would be a toss-up between Vingix and Astronema for me. But least favorite Lothor, no, with maybe Daishi in bringing up the rear. Daishi fucking was boring as shit. Anyway, most underrated Power Rangers series. Power Rangers series, not villain, excuse me. So I can't answer this one. Most underrated Power Rangers series? I'd probably say RPM. Yeah, RPM was definitely one of the, if not the most underrated. Operation Overdrive, I would have said, but it really was not good at the end of the day. RPM though, that was RPM was the last show Disney had, and they just threw it under the rug. And it had some really complex storytelling. It had some really great. Story arcs and characters. And again, Vingix was a terrifying villain. So I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, the most underrated Power Rangers show was RPM. That's just me, though. Anyway, third question. How would you do an actual Power Rangers Street Fighter crossover from Boom Studios and Udon? Well, hopefully it won't be mediocre, because that's what every Street Fighter crossover has been so far. G.I. Joe, Darkstalkers, Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Now, yes, we have technically had Power Rangers and Street Fighter crossover in games, with a mobile game and in the fighting game, the Power Rangers fighting game as well. I think it, like Power Rangers Legacy or some shit. No, Battle for the Grid, excuse me. But, yeah. An actual, and again, I'm sure we will get this crossover in a comic from Udon and Boom Studios at some point. So, excuse me. How I would do a Power Rangers Power Rangers Street Fighter comic crossover. I would probably have it be... I'd probably have it be a team up between Bison and... Bison and Rita would be a really... Again, it's kind of a generic team up, but I would have it be that, and also that Bison wants the power of the morphing grid and wants to mix it with psycho power. I would even love to have them he sends his agents to steal the power coins and replicate and uses the Shadowloo science they have and basically make their own version of Power Range of Psycho Ranger. So you get Jury, Balrog, and the other underlings of Bison become Power Rangers, and even you even get Psycho Power Ranger Bison. How cool would that be? And then also you gotta have the Chun-Li and Ryu become Power Rangers too. So that's kind of I couldn't really think of a full idea, but you got to do something like that, right? Anyway, thank you for those questions, Jason. Moving on now to our final set of questions. Brittany Digger, who asks, have you seen any of the Super Sentai series which Power Rangers is based on? I've seen a few. I have seen, admittedly, a few of the... I have seen a few of those. Like a few of them that I've watched was the original one, the missing one that had the White Ranger in the Super Sentai. That one was a fun one. I also liked the not the RPM, the Zeo Super Sentai too. So I have seen a few. I haven't watched all of them, but I have watched enough of them to have like more of an appreciation for Power Rangers. Second question. What is your favorite Tommy moment? Rip Jason David Frank. Yeah. R.I.P. dude. My favorite... one of my favorite Tommy moments was when he battled the Green Ranger version, the evil version of himself. I also liked in Dino Thunder when he was like in that coma and encountered all the other past versions of himself, White Ranger, Green Ranger, Zeo. I think he also encountered Turbo too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, those were a few. I also liked of course, you can't go wrong with when he fought Jason. When Tommy fought Jason, Dragonzord to Tyrannozord. That was fucking awesome. Like that was some cool Zord on Zord fight, which I wish we got more of. If I'm being honest, I wish we got more of that from the series. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for that question. Moving on now to your final question. What did you think of Bulk and Skull's story arc? What Brittany's referring to is Bulk and Skull's story growth from Mighty Morphin all the way to In Space, which originally was basically like meant to be the end of Power Rangers In Space, was basically meant to be the end of the series. I'd probably say that like my favorite of those of that whole story arc is watching them go from bullies to them like sticking up and standing up for the Power Rangers. That was so cool to see as a kid, like, because I always liked Bulk and Skull, and seeing them like actually like rally humanity to fight against these alien invaders, I thought that was a lot of fun. They were always meant to be like these dumb joke characters, and yet here they are fighting for basically fighting to save the planet and protect the Rangers from being killed off when they were at their lowest point. So yeah, it was definitely a great story arc, if I'm being honest. It was an absolutely great story arc. So I think that is all of them. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. Man, that was a long one, guys. That was a long one. I also feel bad that I couldn't remember every single Power Ranger name off the top of my head. I just, like, that one I was like, damn, I wish I could actually, like, remember them off the top of my head, because it was like, it bothered me so much that I just couldn't remember or mixed up the names, so I do apologize for that. Also, I've just not been getting enough sleep, so maybe that's probably a factor in all of this, in all these shenanigans. So, you know, there is that. But anyway, so once again, I'd like to thank everybody who sent in questions for this Q&A. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions for this Q&A. And once again, if you'd like to be part of the next Q&A, which I'm already thinking about, like, what should be the next Q&A, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier, and then you guys can start sending me... I'm just so used to saying that hit the third tier and doing that whole spiel. But yeah, if you guys want to be part of the next Q&A, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the second tier, and that'll allow you access to the next Q&A when I do it, as well as be able to check out all the videos that are exclusive on Patreon as well. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.